Coles supermarket. Met a very, very interesting guy on Sunday who's one of the biggest suppliers into Australia of things like air conditioning, like really freaking boring stuff. He was like, oh, they're all fucking boring, but they make heaps of money. So air conditioners, outdoor ovens, pizza ovens, stuff like that. Okay, not kind of sexy products, mundane kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, so you sell them retail? He's like, yeah, I sell them retail. B&Q, for instance, is one of his biggest partners. And I was like, so what is, if I want to sell retail, what's the hardest thing about selling into these retail environments? What is the hardest thing about that? Because I'm an e-commerce guy. My hardest thing is probably different. What's hardest thing for you? And he said the hardest thing is getting distribution, getting your product into the shops. Okay. And the way that that works, his words, the way that that works is a shitload of ass kissing and knowing the right people to get into the product buyer's good books so that you've got a relationship with them. Okay. His words. That's how you do it. You spend a lot of time and energy schmoozing these people, building a relationship with them so they know you, like you, trust you. And once you've got that, you've got your distribution channel set up. Okay. You can then push out other products into places like Coles and places like that. And you can push it through that relationship based sales channel out into the retail environment. That's how it works. That's how it works. So that's interesting because for us as e-commerce entrepreneurs, zero ass kissing required, which I kind of like, zero schmoozing required, which is good. And also none of the bullshit that goes along with that with regards to getting onto the shelves. Because think about a shelf in Coles, for instance. You're trying to get into a shelf on Coles. Well, there isn't much available real estate for you. And Coles has got a very, very different set of priorities when it comes to trying out new customers. Okay. So they are really not at all interested in trying out new customers. His words to me were, I don't make great products. My products are good enough. They're just good enough. Okay. But what I do have is I have certainty for these retailers that I'm going to be there for them and I'm going to be able to support them as they send out my product. I was like, well, what does that mean? Well, let's take Coles. There are, I think, 900 plus Coles stores, something like that. 807 supermarkets. Okay. So 807 supermarkets. Let's say you're trying to get into Coles and lo and behold, you get in. Fantastic. Well done, you. Then you've got a whole different problem with getting your enough product into Coles because Coles just doesn't want you to send them one or two products for each of their supermarkets. They want like 500 products into a supermarket to put onto the shelves. So then you've got 500 multiplied by 807. You've got about 40,000 units that you need to give Coles as your initial order. About 40,000 units you need to bank roll specifically into Coles. Okay. And that's just one product. But then it also gets a bit worse because Coles typically operates, and most of these players at that level, on a 90-day payment term. So you got to give them your product, and then you wait 90 days to get paid for it. So that cash flow cycle is a major, major hassle because you've got, give or take 90 days, maybe a little bit less, to get your product from factory production to destination, Australia, for instance, into your particular Coles, and then you've got another 90 days before you get paid for it. So that cash flow cycle is a bitch. So you've got to be able to fund that as well. And for most entrepreneurs, that is a shitload of money to be able to fund. Like 40,000 units on a hundred, like a 6 month cash flow cycle requires a massive chunk of change on your part to be able to fund it. It's not like us for when selling on retail through places like Amazon and places like that. We don't have that. We can go in much lower, much lower. We can target a much smaller proportion of the marketplace. We can put our product onto one platform and have distribution across Australia, indeed across the world. We don't have that 180-day cash cycle thing fucking us over. It's just much different. And so somebody contacted me the other day and they wanted to bring a product from their marketplace into the EU as it happens. And they were asking me about getting retail leverage into it was a chemist-based product, into chemists throughout the EU. Man, that is a massive undertaking relative to what we do as e-commerce entrepreneurs. That is a massive undertaking to actually get to the point where you do that. You need boots on the ground for salespeople. Like, it's different, man. It's much different. So anyway, little kind of rant about retail versus e-commerce. I think that when people think about selling, a lot of people initially think, oh, it would be super sexy to be in retail. Turns out that is a much different proposition to what most people think about. In Inner Circle, I will discuss more about what he said to me, some of the inside shit that he said to me with regards to that. And I might even try and persuade him to come on one time. He's a super cool dude, based out of Shanghai and also out of Portugal as well. That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are a community of over 2,500 people and growing. We're the fastest growing community of e-commerce entrepreneurs right now, with sales, by the way, of over $50 million. If you would like to find out more about what we do and also come and join us, get yourself off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. The link for that is in the description, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, bye for now.